identifying the open player. Okay, so in this situation, the goalkeeper it's on, let's say, on a goal kick. This position, the goalkeeper quickly has to identify who is the open teammate, the open player. Right now, what we're gonna be looking at, the first layer of players, which is, we play with a 3-2-3, or it could be a 3-4-1. But basically, when we start the build-up play all the way from the back, this player right here would be our center back. This player right here would be our left defender. This player right here would be our right defender. This would be our center midfielder and center midfielder. This would be our right forward, right midfielder, left forward, left midfielder, and our striker. Okay? So quickly, whenever there is a goal kick or when the ball goes to the goalkeeper and has her on her feet, right away, this will be the formation that everybody would have on the field. So from this formation, the goalkeeper has to identify, okay, who is the open player. In this case right here, we're gonna go to the right side as this is the open player, and as you see, there are triggers all over the field. It's extremely important that we start from the goalkeeper so that the rest of the triggers can identify where the ball is going so that they can do their movements. In this case, quickly to the outside, and then we see that the rest of the players automatically shifted to their proper positions afterwards. Okay? Okay. Now, um, once again, the goalkeeper, let's say the goalkeeper has the ball as a goal kick. Okay? The first thing that the goalkeeper must do is she has to identify who is the open player. In this scenario, this player is being marked. This player is marked, marked, and so right now the easy target or the easy option is the left defender. Okay, this could be from a goal kick. Also, it could come that the goalkeeper has it on her feet and then makes a nice pass on the ground, or grabs it with her hands. Remember that the goalkeeper cannot grab the ball if it's passed from the same teammate. She cannot grab it with her hands. However, if the ball comes from another play that is not a direct pass intentionally from her own teammate, then she can pick it up with her hands. If that's the case, quickly all the teammates get into their positions once again. And in this case, if it's not a goal kick and the goalkeeper has it with her hands, if this is the right option, who's open, then she can do an underhand throw on the ground. Why? So that the teammate here can easily control the ball and quickly get it out of her feet. Okay. In this situation, what we can see here is you see that what happens here is that everybody else starts after the first pass. Everybody else starts doing their formation. What we're trying to create is diamond shapes, triangle shapes, okay, all over the field. Why? With intention to have always options. All right. But like I said, the goalkeeper is the one that initiates the build-up play. This way, if the goalkeeper identifies properly the build-up play, then easily the rest of the players can read their triggers and the roles in their specific positions so that they can move accordingly. Okay, as we can see, if the open player is here, the ball is passed to her with open space so that she'll have at least 2 to 3 seconds to make the right decision. From this option, then the other players need to read the triggers. In this instance, the left midfielder or left winger or left forward will have to drop to get off her mark, would have to drop to receive this pass, in which occasion the central defender will drop again to be an option here for the back pass. The midfielder will go ahead forward so that they can start creating a diamond shape, and this will be another option, a pass forward. This is a pass backwards, and then we'll have the other midfielder tucking in towards the middle, and in this case we'll have one option, two options, three options available. Okay, but all this cannot happen without the goalkeeper recognizing the open space. I'm sorry. If, let's say, the open player is right here, but then she cannot read it, or the goalkeeper cannot read it and decides to pass it either to the middle or to this other side where they're being marked already, then this will generate a very dangerous situation. Why? Because one of the players that are marking our players can anticipate or steal that ball, and then in which case they can just go on a 1v1 against the goalkeeper and will generate a very dangerous situation. Okay, so here we have another scenario. In the first two scenarios, we saw that this player was the one open in the first scenario. In the second scenario, we saw that the left defender was open. Now, in this third scenario, what we're going to see is that now these two players, the right defender, left defender, they're marked. However, the central defender is unmarked. The rest of the players are also marked. So now there has to be communication between the goalkeeper and the central defender as to really understand that this person, the central defender, has to be a little bit higher, because if the central defender starts here, okay, she can pull mark and be marked right here, and in that situation it'll be a very dangerous situation to pass. So it's very important that the central defender goes a little bit higher here, and in case she is free, there needs to be a communication also by the goalkeeper that she needs to drop now so that the goalkeeper can pass her the ball. This could happen from a goal kick, or once again, if the goalkeeper has the ball on her feet, okay, she can just give a nice pass on the ground, or if the ball comes to the goalkeeper and she grabs it, she can do an underhand on the ground pass here. It's very important to understand for the goalkeeper that if she has it in her hands, that if she's gonna make a pass, let's say this player is open like in the previous scenario, that the pass is either with the feet on the ground or on underhand on the ground. Same here, like in the first scenario that we had, that if the goalkeeper has it in her hands, that she passes it on her hands, an underhand pass on the ground, or with the feet on the ground to feet. All right, so it's easy for the players to control. Same situation here. Okay, on the ground to the player, feet, so that quickly she can do a half turn if she can, or if one of these players gets unmarked, she can do pass here, and then this player can pass it here, and then we can go up forward. Okay, but it's again the start of the build-up play. In order to be successful, again, we depend on the goalkeeper and how the goalkeeper is reading the open players. Okay, in this situation where we're gonna see again, it's a nice pass, and then as you can see, the right midfielder, right forward, right winger, then she reacts to her movement, controlling the ball. She reacts to coming now to the ball, and the rest of the players will once again react. For example, the midfielder will move towards here, and let me just do this. In this situation, once this player gets the ball, this midfielder can move over here. The other midfielder will come towards the middle. Okay, gonna do that right now, so that we can create our shapes. Okay, we'll be able to create our shapes, and off we go. Okay, in this next scenario, what's gonna happen is, once again, we have our right defender, left defender, central defender. Okay, like I mentioned earlier, very important that the central defender, it's a little bit higher rather than just staying here. Because if she stays here and gets a mark, and the ball comes to either of these three, then we're in big trouble. Okay, so very important that she's here. So for example, if this happens, okay, if this happens, then 1, 2, 3, they are marked. Two of my center midfielders are marked, and my left midfielder, left winger, left forward, marked. In this situation, let's say that the open player would be the left wide player, the left midfielder, the left forward. In this situation, now the goalkeeper has to quickly recognize that, and this would come from a throw-in. Okay, if this comes from, let's say, a goal kick, if it comes from a goal kick, then we would need also for the kick to go on the air, on top on the air, into this empty pocket of space. Okay, if it's a goal kick. If the goalkeeper has it with her hands, very important to do an overhand throw to this empty space right here. Why an overhand and not an underhand? Let's say there's an underhand throw here on the ground, but then this player tries to intercept that ball and is successful, then once again we're in trouble. So an overhand to this empty space is probably the best option. In which case, this player will have to recognize that. So there has to be communication between the goalkeeper and the open player, so that when she passes the ball, this player already knows that the ball is going to go there. Very important. If the goalkeeper identifies that the right option is here, but then this player is not ready, and then the ball is thrown, we just give the ball away. Okay, so very important, the communication between these two players, so that this player here understands that the ball is also going to her from an overhand throw here. Then she comes, and then the rest of the players will trigger of this movement. Okay, so what will happen again, we'll try to get into our shapes, into our diamond shape. When this player drops, then we'll get into our diamond shape. Now in this situation, I mean, I put the striker to become a winger, and perhaps on this situation, then the midfielder can go and become the striker. Okay, but the goalkeeper right now, everything she needs to identify is right now this open space. If she has it on her feet, she can perhaps dribble a little bit towards this side, and then make a pass on top to this player. Okay, very important that it's an overthrow, or the ball goes on top, okay, towards this player. As we can see, it's on top. The player drops, and everybody gets into their positions. The ball now here, the player can have a lot of options. Can have an option back here. Let's say this player is being covered. She has another option to dribble forward into the empty space, or to pass it to the striker, or to pass it here to the midfielder. If it's a pass to the striker can do a back pass, and then we can switch the play for now this player to go on attack. Okay, but again, a successful build-up play starts from the goalkeeper. Extremely important. This next scenario is basically the same thing as the previous one. The only thing that changes is the side. Okay, so again, let's say that the first layer of players, which are the defenders, we're gonna call them the first layer. The first layer, the ball always goes on the ground 2 feet. Okay, if one of these 3 players is open. The second layer will be now the midfielders. For the second layer, the ball has to be an overthrow on the air, okay? Or if it's a goal kick and the open player is here, the ball has to be on the air again into the open space, okay? So it's the same thing. Player drops to get the ball and the rest of the teammates set up into the shape. Now in this case, what I did, the striker stays central, but now the midfielder is the one that really can go a little bit higher, even to become almost as a winger, okay? And the other the other midfielder then tucks in towards the middle, so that now we can create again that diamond shape, okay? Like I said, if it's a goal kick on the air towards the open space. If the goalkeeper gets it with her feet first, she can also take the ball a little bit forward so the distance is a little bit less, and then again on top. Or if she grabs it with her hands, an overthrow over the head into the open space. Okay? Very simple. This last scenario, a lot of what's going to happen, for example, if we have one open player here or one open player here or both these players open, um, obviously the easy option is to go to the first layer of defenders, right? But the more that we start doing this, smart teams, what they're going to start doing at the beginning, if we're doing only passes to the first layer of defenders on the ground, let's say these two were open at the beginning of the game, and then we start doing right or left to the open players. Let's put it this way. Let's say that these players are over here, okay? The more we do this to the right or to the left and start playing from the sides, the other team, naturally, they're either gonna first, let's say, send one player, and maybe we'll only have one option. Then we keep using it, then they will send another player, okay? And let's say we have one player here, we keep using this player, and they recognize that again, so they're trying to put a lot of pressure on us now. So now, constantly, they're stopping our build-up play from the back, which is okay, okay? Let's say that another player here stays higher. What this player can do, just open and then an overthrow, an overhand throw to this empty space here. Okay, let's say the first layer, like we said, on the ground, and now this is the second layer over here. They're all being covered. They send full pressure to us, so we can no longer start doing our underhand throws or our overhand throws. We can no longer do that. Okay, that is normal. What that's gonna create is now we mix it up a little bit. How do we do that? Again, the goalkeeper is the one that has to dictate that part. It has to be a long ball, and basically, if the goalkeeper has it in her hands, now it has to be a long kick, a nice punt. But the part about this that has to be smart is you are not just punting the ball just to punt it anywhere. Okay, in this case, the goalkeeper, for example, will dribble. Let's say if the goalkeeper goes to the right side, first dribble it before she grabs it with her hands. dribbles it. By doing this and going towards the right side, now she's starting to signal to the whole team that she's gonna kick the ball towards the right side of the field. So what the team now needs to do, she has to start signaling long, 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 or you know, I'm going long, punt, whatever. It's up to her to signal the team that she's gonna go long. With that signal now these players now have to push up. They have to go higher. They have to go a little bit higher. Okay, so now the whole team pushes up. But what's going to happen is that the team now is going to have to squeeze to the right side. So basically, this player, the blue player, now moves and they squeeze to this side. All the players are kind of squeezing more towards the right side, but at the same time they're pushing higher. So now the line, the defensive line, can be like this, a little bit flat, or even this defender can drop a little bit, but not everybody is sliding towards the right side. Why sliding towards the right side? Because we want to have numbers where the ball is gonna get, right? So if everybody's spread out and the ball comes here and there's two red players here and only one blue player, they outmatch us on a numerical advantage, and most likely they can recover the ball. But if we start sliding all our players, okay, and then we get a numerical advantage, maybe even drop this one here and then have this one talking a little bit more, okay, and then push this one a little bit more. Now, if the ball is going to bounce around this area, we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4 players around the ball. So we're adding numerical advantage, in which case we can recover the ball. And the moment that we recover the ball, now we can spread out once again into our regular positions, okay? But higher off the pitch, of course. If the ball is here, now this player will slide. This player will be the central defender, will be the recycling player. This player now goes to the side, and this player pushes up high. This player gets wide again, okay. And my two midfielders now they start they start going forward with the ball, and now the striker can go forward again. That way, once we recover the ball, we can start creating space and pushing that ball forward, okay. I'm just gonna put it in the way that we should be when the kick goes. So we squeeze towards the middle, like I mentioned earlier. Uh, the they push a little bit higher, the defenders. Squeeze a little bit, okay. Um, this player tucks in, like I mentioned earlier, okay. Midfielder, and this player just sneaks in just a little bit. Striker comes a little bit closer, okay. All right. So now the goalkeeper dribbles, lets everybody know, then kicks the ball, and now we can recover it. And then, like I mentioned, from there we spread out. Okay. Now, if we do this, again a couple of times, we're pushing now higher. Now, what's gonna happen with the opposition? Now they're gonna drop back into their place, and once we do that, then we can start doing the first scenarios that we did and trying it out again. So it's just like playing chess. You just have to see and keep trying different things. If it's not a pass to the first layer, and maybe somebody will be open on the second layer, and if neither the first layer or the second layer work, then we squeeze everybody, we push them higher, and then that's when we do the long kick. So we have to keep going between one and the other, back and forth, depending on what the other team does and how they react to each situation, okay.